Hey, what's up? What is going on, everyone? 2 minutes in the box with Gordo. Happy Friday, everyone. The weekend is upon us. All right, today we're going to be talking about recapping last night's games, some thrillers, some interesting statistics, some interesting news, and some interesting gossip around the NHL hockey world. Okay, first up, let's talk about last night's game, shall we? The Boston Bruins, Jeremy Swayman, no surprise, 6-4 victory over the Montreal Canadiens. I'll tell you, was it really worth the wait for that contract extension for Jeremy Swayman? I gotta say, oh yes, it was. His stats were good, but not great. His save percentage wasn't that sexy, 0.833. Montreal came back strong in the third period. First period, it was a close game. I'll tell you, this Cole Caulfield on fire again, spectacular. Brendan Gallagher, grinder, hardworking. He knows where to crash the net and knows where to go. And I'm looking at these numbers on the assists on the back end. Goalie and Hudson, oh my, Lane Hudson, that dude is special. I see he is a Cal McCarr prototype player. I believe he's going to be a stud someday. And I got to tell you, Wi-Fi -3. I mean, it's not that good. Like there were talks that he was going to be in an American league, in the beginning of the season, but it turned out, he earned a spot, but it wasn't good enough. I mean, the plus minus category on the Montreal Canadiens, there were a few pluses, but majority of that roster was a minus. And Caden Primo, not good night for him, 0.793 save percentage. But on the other end for the Boston Bruins, Elias Ledholm, welcome to Boston. Kopke, right there, goal and 2 apples right there. David Pastrnak, 350 goals already. This guy is a superstar. We all know it. I know it. This guy had a phenomenal night. And also on the back end, Zadorov, he felt comfortable. That was a very good game. And Carlo, 2 helps as well. Charlie McAvoy got the goal right there. That was a very good game by Boston, a great bounce back, a redemption win. And, we love that rivalry between the Montreal Canadiens and the Boston Bruins. It's tradition and it's fun and classic. All right, next game, we'll talk about the LA Kings versus the Buffalo Sabres. Lindy Ruff, welcome back to Buffalo. And hopefully he can fix the problem. They haven't made the playoffs since Lindy Ruff was the coach. Go figure, what a coincidence. And Buffalo had the lead majority of the game. And then Anze Kopitar, in a rare first game of the season on a natural hat trick. LA came strong in the last few minutes of the third period. Just a amazing effort by Anze Kopitar. And I'll tell you, Kopitar is the leader since Drew Doughty's out with injury for the next several months. And Kopitar, he got the job done. He got the win. And what a great statistic right there. What a great statistic for first hat trick of the season in the first game of the season. What a game time player of Anze Kopitar. One of the best two-way players of the game. And the Florida Panthers played last night against the Ottawa Senators. Ottawa got this victory 3-1. And I'll say, Forsling, he got the goal. You know how it is with him. He, in his moments, he gets it. Kachuk and Bennett got the apples right there. And Bobrovsky played spectacular. Only let 2 in. There was an empty netter, but we'll get to that in a sec. Tim Stützle, no surprise. That man is a superstar. 2 goals. He is the face of the franchise. And Nick Cousins, on the other hand, night prior to the game, went out with his old teammates of the Florida Panthers and got his new bling bling Stanley Cup ring. Oh yeah, that's a nice tone to it. And a scary incident towards the end of the game. Barkov, it was a 2-1 game, empty netter. Barkov breaks his stick, chasing down Stutzel, and crashes both feet into the boards. Couldn't put any weight on the right leg. So there still talks about like how severity the injury is. There was no practice today for the Florida Panthers, and they'll give us an update for tomorrow. So there's been surface reports that Barkov is walking, no cast, nothing. He can put weight on the right leg, and he is questionable, but we have to find out more detail on the severity of his injury. If this injury is really bad, the Panthers, it's going to be a long season, but with and also with the salary cap. That salary cap is no joke. And they got to find a way to make sure they bring up a reliable player on the Charlotte Checkers in the American Hockey League to the Florida Panthers. That right there is a consequence right there. Losing Barkov is bad news for the Florida Panthers with a not friendly salary cap budget. All right, let's talk about the next game, shall we? And we all know that this right here was the anticipating game between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the New Jersey Devils. And it was Sheldon Keefe's first home game for the New Jersey Devils of the season in Newark against Sheldon's old team, the Toronto Maple Leafs. No love, but the score, Toronto just ran away with it 4-2. And I'm looking at the numbers. Austin Matthews, still quiet. Matthew Nye, still quiet. And Max Pacioretty, turning back the clock, he looked spectacular out there. He is like his old self. And it was weird that, he was wearing a Maple Leaf jersey against the team he was the captain for the Montreal Canadiens for several seasons. It was a weird sight to see. Steve Lawrence, he got the goal and the helper right there. And Hellenby played his butt off. He stood his ground. It was one of those games, John Tavares, he got his first goal of the season. Very, very useful still. And he's going to get a contract extension. Jesper Pratt and Timo Meier got the goals. And Markstrom struggled a little bit, Like I say, the more shots you get on net, and the goals, the save percentage could get better or worse. Remember, this is real estate, Wall Street, Vegas. It's all about the number game and making sure that the performance, like you get traffic coming at you, shots and stuff and opportunities. Yeah, it was not a good night for the Devils, and a lot of -2s there, people. A lot of -2s on the Devils' end. Let's see what we got in the next one. Utah Hockey Club against New York Islanders. I got to say, Utah 2-0. This team is good. And people boo Alex Malero for what he did in Arizona. Boo this man off stage. Look what he took away from Arizona. Arizona would have been a superstar team if it weren't for the incompetent owners playing in the college arena and a deep pocket. They could have had a deep pocket owner. But I still appreciate Ryan Smith for what he has done for the Utah Hockey Club and for the players. And I'll tell you that Dylan Guenther, 2 goals again. This guy, first time in 100-year plus NHL history for a guy to start the season with 4 goals in the first 2 games of the regular season. This guy is Kevin Durant. When Durant was with the Supersonics his rookie year, and everyone's like, oh, there's a lot of promise and all, and then they moved to Oklahoma City. This sucks for the fans in Phoenix. It sucks for them saying, like, we drafted him, and now that you have him, it's like we're the ones who drafted him, and then you're the ones like inheriting the talent like a trust fund. It's just like, come on. Dylan Guenther was our guy. He was our guy. The Sheriff got goal in the helper right there as well. Braden Hayden, he did well right there. Clayton Keller got 2 apples right there. and Mikhail Sergachev, he got two apples right there. I'll say this Utah Hockey Club is a very good team. They fought hard. The Islanders, speaking of which, the third period, 3 goals, spectacular. Anthony Duclair looked very good in his debut, and Tashkov, he looked spectacular with that leading goal until Josh Doan tied the game up. And I'll say, we're seeing a lot of 8s in the save percentage, and Utah deserved to win that game. They look like the real deal. It's like the Seattle Supersonics going to Oklahoma City, the Quebec Nordiques going to Colorado, and then all of a sudden, wow, this team is really, really good. It sucks that you leave a market, and then it's like you stole a team that had a bright future away from us. That's sucks for the fans. That really sucks for the fans, for the Coyote fans, and the Arizona hockey fans. It sucks. Like, you're seeing a team that has so much talent and a bright future taken away because of an incompetent owner who basically skipped town and said, bye, Felicia. Couldn't get the deal done. He was not a good owner. He was not a good owner at all. Detroit Red Wings against the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's the old school 08 and 09 Cup final back-to-back matchup. The Penguins, they bounced back. They really did bounce back. Crosby, 2 apples. Anthony Beauvillier, he looked spectacular. He might have found a new home in the Pittsburgh Penguins. He looked good. Gino looked good out there as well. Patterson, he looked spectacular. Erik Karlsson looked really, really good. And the Red Wings, the Brinket, no surprise there. The chemistry with him, Dylan Larkin, and Lucas Raymond, that is a great top line combo. Raymond got 2 apples right there. And the Red Wings, I'll say this. If this Red Wings squad is going to have this type of start to the regular season, Derek Lalonde, you're fired. I don't want to bring up anybody in the farm system. If I was Steve Yzerman, I want to win now. I want to bring my old buddy, Gerard Gallant, a man who's won a Jack Adams Award, been to the Cup Finals, deep playoff runs, has a great pedigree as a coach and brought results. Gerard Gallant is going to be the next Detroit Red Wing coach. They need help right away. Derek Lalonde is a career assistant coach, people. He's a career assistant coach. The Red Wings have a budget. Oh, whoopie freaking do. Bring in Gallant now. I don't care. Do what you got to do, Stevie Y. If you want to save your job, get your old best friend and bring him back to coaching into the NHL. That's what I would do if I were you. And we had a very anticipating debut between the Dallas Stars and the Nashville Predators. Steven Stamkos, first game in Nashville, along with Jonathan Marchessault and Brady Shea. But it was a very quiet night for Steven Stamkos. Stammer, he had 3 shots. It was a quiet night. But Ryan O'Reilly got one right there. Philip Forsberg, he got one there. Novak got one. Marchessault, no surprise at all. 2 apples right there. He looked very good right there. Wedgwood, he wasn't good as advertised in net. And Dallas, no surprise. What a game. What a game for Mason Marchment. 2 goals. Stankoven, 3 assists. What a great opener for him, for the season opener for him. And he could be a potential Rookie of the Year candidate. This guy is phenomenal. I mean, Steve Yzerman's so-called scouts he had in Tampa and Detroit went to Dallas. So Jimmy Nill, what a job well done bringing in Stankoven in there right now. He looked very, very good. And I'll say, defense, they looked spectacular out there. They got the job done. It was a 1-goal game. It was a good game. Overall, I see them. I think, I'll tell you, these 2 teams can be meeting up in the playoffs down the road. And, you love that Central Division rival. That is a one of a kind rivalry in today's NHL. And next game we got to talk about is the Columbus Blue Jackets against the Minnesota Wild. What a great tribute by the Minnesota Wild to Johnny Gaudreau, Matthew Gaudreau. First class. What a great presentation. Celebrating the life of a great guy, a great family man, and a great guy in general. And it was a hard-fought game, close to the very end. Kent Johnson, he looks good. Kent Johnson, he's had his ups and downs in the last few years, but he is on a mission to get back where he was in his rookie year. And Cole Sillinger looked good. And Zach Werenski, no surprise, Grosse Pointe representing right there. What a shot, great cannon. And he's going to carry the load, the leadership role. And, the Blue Jackets, they're going to be a feisty team. The Blue Jackets, I know they're going to be a basement-dwelling lottery team, but they're going to put up a fight, for Johnny Gaudreau. And everyone knows that Columbus is going to have a long year, but they have no Captain Bougener. We've heard 5 months out with his shoulder surgery. And I still think Columbus is going to be a feisty team. But overall, they're going to be a lottery team. They need something to break through. This franchise has struggled since day one. Going on the Minnesota Wild end, Matt Boldy. Boldy looked great. Gold, 2 apples. That's why you pay the big bucks. He is the future. One of the great pieces for the Minnesota Wild's future. Marcus Johansson, great, 2 apples right there. Kirill Kaprizov got an apple right there. And defense looks very strong for the Minnesota Wild. Philip Gustafson looked unbelievable. He is ready to be the number 1 goaltender once Flower retires. What a great teacher that Marc-Andre Fleury is to Philip Gustafson. What a great teacher that dude is. And I'll say, remember I was talking about this yesterday, is that, Kirill Kaprizov, you've got to get this guy signed long-term. Billy Guerin, I know Parisi and Suter are going to be off the buyout, and the checkbook. Now you're going to be like, okay, I got to figure out how much money we're going to spend on Kirill Kaprizov. You got to sign this man to how much money, how many zeros? I don't know, but you got to sign your superstar franchise player. You got to keep this team relevant and contending for many years to come. And let's talk about the final game of yesterday. St. Louis Blues versus the San Jose Sharks. What an anticipated debut for 2 of the brightest futures for the San Jose Sharks, and Will Smith and Macklin Celebrini. Celebrini, what a game. First game in the NHL. What a nice spinorama pass. He was going to go for Eklund, but it bounced off on the Blues defenseman. And what a spinorama. He was the second fastest number 1 overall pick to score a goal in NHL history. Mario Lemieux did it under 3 minutes. What a special player by this 18-year-old franchise player and Macklin Celebrini. Will Smith, he played a good game too. Tyler Toffoli, he had a heck of a game as well. Goal and apple as well. And don't forget, San Jose's is a young team. They've got a lot to build upon. They are still a young team. And St. Louis Blues, though, as their opponent, Radafasca, he played well. Bosnevich, he played well. Braden Shen, great. And Robert Thomas, 2 apples. And Suter, like we were just talking about him, he got the first goal on the back end along with Justin Falk. We're going to see a very competitive St. Louis Blues team. And this went to overtime. San Jose led majority of the game. They had a terrible third period. They let that slip away. But, hey, at least you got 1 point out of it in overtime. All right. Since we're done reviewing last night's games, let's talk about the weekend ahead. Oh, yeah. Tonight we've got a very interesting matchups between the Tampa Bay Lightning playing the first game of the season against the Carolina Hurricanes, Chicago Blackhawks in Winnipeg playing against the Winnipeg Jets, Philadelphia Flyers against the Vancouver Canucks, and the St. Louis Blues. Again, they are playing against the Vegas Golden Knights. Alex Pietrangelo, yeah. So Jake Gensel's making his first appearance of the year with his new team, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the team he played for the Carolina Hurricanes at the trade deadline as a cameo to make the deep playoff run. I think this is going to be a good matchup, but Carolina, they still have some pieces, but I feel like the window is closing on them. But Carolina, yeah, I'm picking them to win this one because it's a home opener. It's going to be a lot of fire and energy in them. And the next one, I'm going to go Chicago and Winnipeg. It's first game of the year for Winnipeg at home, and Chicago's second game of the season. They are on the road after losing against Utah Hockey Club. Congratulations, Chicago Blackhawks, living in infamy on the losing against Utah. So for the first time in anyone's history, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you got Connor Bedard against Mark Scheifele. You know, this is going to be a close-fought battle. I like we're going to see this one. I'm definitely going to be watching this one. I got to say Winnipeg is going to win this one close. And then we got the first game for the Philadelphia Flyers against the Vancouver Canucks. Canucks lost overtime the other night against the Calgary Flames. Flyers playing the first game on the road in the season. I got to say, we're going to see Vancouver win this one. I know, I'm being a homer and a biased guy, but Vancouver, they got the deeper roster. The depth is deeper, but you know, watch out for Philly tonight. You know, I feel that Michkov is going to going to get a goal and or an assist. I am excited to watch this kid play. He is an exciting young player, and you know, don't forget, Owen Tippett. You know, he's a good kid. He's a good player as well. I see Vancouver still winning this one, and finally, St. Louis Blues versus the Vegas Golden Knights. And, you know, Alex Pietrangelo, who plays for the Vegas Golden Knights, former St. Louis Blue, and the captain. And, you know, this one will be close. I'm going to pick St. Louis, you know, on a back-to-back. St. Louis on a back-to-back. I see the Blues winning this game tonight. And let's ship it up to the 12th of October. You know, it's first Saturday of Hockey Night in Canada. You got LA and Boston. You've got the Florida Panthers against the Buffalo Sabres, the Pittsburgh Penguins against the Toronto Maple Leafs, Ottawa Senators against Montreal Canadiens, Nashville Predators against the Detroit Red Wings, Utah Hockey Club at MSG for the first time in franchise history against New York Rangers, New Jersey Devils against Washington Capitals, the New York Islanders on the road against the Dallas Stars, Seattle Kraken in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota, at the XL Energy Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. Then you've got the Columbus Blue Jackets playing their second game of the year against the Colorado Avalanche. The Philadelphia Flyers are playing a back-to-back against the Calgary Flames in the Saddle Dome. Then the Chicago Blackhawks are playing the Edmonton Oilers. You got the two Connors, Connor Bedard, Connor McDavid. That's going to be a fun matchup. Then you've got the Ducks against the Sharks. Is it going to be a frenzy, or the Ducks are going to fly together and fly high? I think it's going to be a very interesting game. And you've got Tampa Bay and Carolina that is postponed due to Hurricane Milton. Yeah, Milton, not the dude from Office Space going, excuse me, where's my stapler, my red stapler? I am so sick and tired of being moved in the office. I'm going to burn these offices to the ground. That's the last straw. Yeah. I'm going good flow to this, huh? And then on the 13th, on Sunday of October, you've got a great set of games. It's all Western Conference right here, ladies and gentlemen. It's a West Side thing. Ain't nothing but a G thing like Warren G. We got to regulate. All right, you've got the Minnesota Wild against the Winnipeg Jets. It's a good old school, you know, Minnesota, Manitoba, Midwest talking about right there. Then you got the Seattle Kraken against the Dallas Stars. And then the Battle of Alberta, the first one of the season. You've got the rebuilding Calgary Flames against the Edmonton Oilers. And you've got SoCal's Anaheim Ducks against the Vegas Golden Knights. And I'll tell you, I'm going to be talking about the results as a quick cameo talk about on tomorrow's episode in the morning. Yeah. And now we're talking about this crazy talk about the New York Rangers. New York Rangers are talking about a contract extension for Alexei Lafreniere. The first 3 years were a struggle for Lafayette, but this past season, he was unbelievable. He finally came and played. Lafayette played very well it was just mind-boggling. Alexei Lafayette played his you-know-what off. Having Peter Laviolette as the coach, he took the dog leash off and he let him roam free. And Lafayette, he got a goal and a helper the other night on Wednesday night against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And Lafayette last year, he had a very good ranking right here. He was, let's put it this way, he played very well, with 28 goals, 29 assists, 57 points. The first 3 seasons were 21 points, 31 points, 39 points. His toe drag shot is filthy, and he's finally found his groove. And they're talking about an $8 million contract extension for an 8-year extension. It's a bit of a bold risk move. Let's see what it moves out there. But yeah, I'm very scared about doing that contract. That's my scary thing about these contracts. You better watch out what you spend your money on, and don't forget Shesterkin. That's priority number one. Forget Lafayette right now, but you gotta get Shesterkin signed right the F now. That right there, you can't let that unicorn leave the habitat in his gated community. You can't let him go free. You gotta keep him happy. That's why money can bring the happiness. Cash rules the world, though. And I'll say this right here will be a good year and a good example. All right, let's talk about American Hockey League, the AHL. We've been hearing talks that Hamilton, Ontario, it could be on the verge of getting either a relocated team or an expansion team. There's been talks of Belleville Senators could be going to Hamilton and becoming the Hamilton Senators. That's a maybe, but I still think it was criminal and wrong. They should have never let the Belleville Bulls go. They should have stayed in the Ontario Hockey League this whole time instead of trading places with Binghamton and going to Binghamton, New York, and going up to Belleville. That was the dumbest AHL move. Belleville is a major junior town, not a AAA one step into the NHL type of town. That is a junior A city right there, people. Major junior. Hamilton, I know they've been talking about an NHL team for the longest time, but they should get the Senators. But I wouldn't be surprised. It could be an expansion team too. And I've been hearing reports that, we've been hearing Tucson, Arizona could get an AHL team again once the Arizona Coyotes come back from hibernation and deactivated mode, since the Tucson Runners currently are going to be moving to Reno, Nevada, and they are currently affiliated with Utah Hockey Club. Yeah, so you heard that first. So Reno, Nevada will be getting an American Hockey League team with a brand new arena, no thanks to that scumbag, Alex Malero. All right, and then the other market we were talking about, San Antonio, Texas. San Antonio, Texas, they never got the proper goodbye when the Rampage moved to Henderson because, COVID happened, blah, blah, blah. They never got to say goodbye to the franchise. And San Antonio, my friends, will be the Houston Aeros, the NHL Aeros affiliate in the future right there. And we also been hearing Oklahoma City could be in the mix for a AHL or ECHL franchise. Just make sure, and I hate talking about expansion lately, but I love the idea of expanding the league and all that, but it gets old and annoying. But the collective bargaining agreement is the first thing that needs to get done so that the players can get a chunk of the majority stake of expansion fees by the owners and the board of governors in the National Hockey League. All right, and now we got Landon Dupont. Dupont looks very good at the Everett Silvertips of the Western Hockey League. His father played in the NHL for a cup of coffee, but I'll say it, Landon Dupont for the Everett Silvertips is an exceptional stats player. 4 goals, 11 points so far in this young Western Hockey League season. This guy is fucking good. Yeah, you heard that. This kid, I always think here, could this kid be going to the NHL right away or the NCAA route, since that, the NCAA is going to vote for allowing major junior hockey players from the Canadian Hockey League, the OHL, the Q, and the Dub coming into the NCAA. Like, we'll get more details on that vote. We have to see if that vote went through for next week's episode. And we heard that Phil Kessel still wants to play hockey. We all heard he's a heck of a poker player. He's a heck of a talented dude. He's a freak of an athlete. He can dunk a basketball. And he is one of those guys, like, he never conditions, but he has the most consecutive games played by an NHL player all time, broke Keith Yandel's record and Gary Younger's record. And 1,064 games. Like, he wants to play for one more year, but he recently just joined the World Poker Tour. And he, by the way, if people can be asking at that poker table when they're dealing with the cards, they're going to ask him, are you going to still play, or you're going to be talking old hockey stories and reminiscing the old days of playing for the Bruins, the Maple Leafs, the Penguins, and the Coyotes, and the Vegas Golden Knights? We'll have to see right there, because Phil Kessel is a national treasure here, people. That dude is a character. And we also heard that in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, or the Quebec Maritimes Junior Hockey League, the acting Bathurst Titans of the Q, we've been hearing reports that they could be sold. Several years ago, there were talks, before COVID came in, there were reports that this team was going to be sold and relocated to the Montreal area. But that deal got canceled due to the COVID worldwide shutdown. And there's been talks about a potential sale going to St. John's, Newfoundland. And you've heard that St. John's, Newfoundland is just recently lost their ECHL team, the Growlers. They were very successful, by the way. They were there for about 5.5, 6 years. They did not finish at the finish line. They had like 5, maybe 7 games left to finish the season, because the owners had to basically go bankrupt. They had to keep the Tres de River Lions, the other team that they own. They had to keep them. And, the Maple Leafs had somewhat, I don't know if they have an ECHL affiliate, but it's a damn shame that, the Growlers, they were a contender every year, and COVID really hurt them by not playing. And what sucks is that, this, a small town of Bathurst in New Brunswick, a population of 13,000 people, they're going to be losing a major junior hockey team. And the team's owned by Sean Couturier and his father, Sylvain Couturier. And, it would suck to see a team, that won the Memorial Cup. They broke even. They never had a successful, financial, sustainable tenure in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. They had, their first year was great. Then the market just the team. But they did win the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League championship and the Memorial Cup in 2018. But that all fizzled away, and now they're potential with St. John's, Newfoundland. Newfoundland, I've spoken with several of my past guests, and they have told me that it is a vibrant, beautiful Scottish, Irish, English settlement and city with great history. But what's going to kill that franchise is that, if you move there, you might see another relocation. The last time they had a Quebec Major Junior team in St. John's, Newfoundland was from 05 to 08 with the St. John's Fog Devils. They ended up going to the Montreal area in 2008. St. John's, Newfoundland, they've had a great history when it comes to pro hockey, not so much in the junior hockey rinks, but travel is going to cost a lot. And travel is not going to be very kind, flying and all that stuff, and the bus. But I'll say that, you bet if you were an owner in St. John's, Newfoundland, you better have deep pockets, because I wouldn't be surprised that the St. John's new Quebec Maritimes team only lasts 3, maybe 5 years tops. And I gotta say, this is a dumb idea. You've got to go to a market that is very reasonable. I mean, why go back to Lewiston, Maine, or go somewhere in some American market in the New England area or upstate New York to get a Quebec Maritimes junior hockey team? The Newfoundland thing is a very bad idea, in my personal take. I think it's a great city and a great place, but the travel and all that stuff is going to kill. I mean, St. John's had the St. John's Maple Leafs from 1991 to 2005, and they ended up going to Toronto and play at the Coca-Cola Coliseum, Ricoh Coliseum, to whatever I grew up with. It was the Ricoh Coliseum. And then they had the major junior team from 05 to 08. Then they had no team for 3 years until the Manitoba Moose moved to St. John's, Newfoundland, and became the Ice Caps. And then that Whitecaps first incarnation went back to Winnipeg and brought back the Moose because Winnipeg Jets, Manitoba Moose, close affiliation, said that logistically travel. The thing is that that team, St. John's Ice Cap, they were originally going to go to Thunder Bay, Ontario, but Thunder Bay couldn't afford to build a new arena for an AHL team and the travel logistics. So it was smart to share the arena with the Winnipeg Jets. And the second incarnation, the St. John's Ice Caps, that was the Montreal Canadiens affiliate. That was from 2015 to 2017. That was a 2-year deal. And they went to Laval, Quebec, became the Laval Rocket. And that right there. And then for a year or two, so St. John's didn't have a team. They had an ECHL team and the Growlers. The Growlers, like I said, successful ECHL franchise. And then there was conflicts with the city, lease deal and all that stuff, money deal, and they didn't finish at the finish line. And I'll tell you, I give props to Terry Ryan for coming in to save the day, to play a game when the team was shorthanded, when there was a flu bug going around. And Newfoundland, I know you guys deserve a hockey team. I would not be surprised if Quebec gets an NHL franchise. I would be not shocked if St. John's, Newfoundland gets an American League team that would be affiliated with the Quebec Nordique. That right there would be like a dreams come true type of thing. But the thing is that money, and the travel and all the restrictions and all that stuff. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do about that? But like I said, thank you for joining the show, everybody, and listening to my hockey rants and vlog type of thing. Make sure you subscribe and follow on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, X, any of the social media platforms. Message me anytime you want if you want me to talk about a new topic and subject. And don't be afraid, anybody, to contribute, get on the show and talk your mind to me, and I can be observing, and then I can counter you with my answer and opinion. All right, everyone, have a great rest of the Friday and enjoy. Be safe. We'll be back here to film a quick update tomorrow, and enjoy your Friday, everybody. God bless, and God bless America. Have a great rest of the day.